Welcome back in the middle of this week as we continue looking at Genesis 43. Remember that 9 of the brothers have now returned to Canaan, to their father Jacob. Simeon stayed back, and he was there in chains, probably arrested, until Benjamin. They came back with Benjamin to prove that they weren't spies, but Jacob didn't want to send them back because he was afraid that something would happen to Benjamin. He wasn't willing to give Benjamin up and would rather be separated from Simeon than give up his new favored son, Benjamin. Verse 1. Once again, read through the whole chapter. I'm sounding like a stuck record on it. Oh well. Now the famine was severe in the land, and when they had eaten the grain that they had brought from Egypt, their father said to them, "Go again, buy us a little food." But Judah said to him, "The man solemnly warned us, saying, 'You shall not see my face unless your brother is with you. If you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said to us, you shall not see my face unless your brother is with you.' Israel," Jacob said, "why did you treat me so badly as to tell the man that you had another brother?" They replied, "The man questioned us carefully about ourselves and our kindred, saying, 'Is your father still alive? Do you have another brother?' What we told him was in answer to these questions. Could we in any way know that he would say, 'Bring your brother down'?" And Judah said to his father, "Send the boy with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be a pledge of his safety. From my hand you shall require him. If I do not bring him back to you and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. If we had not delayed, we would now have returned twice." Judah is the one that speaks up. Are you a little surprised by that? I know I was when I first heard that. Judah was the ringleader who sold Joseph into slavery. He was the one now pledging himself to be punished if Benjamin didn't return. I can't help but see this as a little bit of a foreshadow of one of Judah's descendants way down the line, of course, Jesus, who would set himself up as the substitutionary atonement, the propitiation, the atoning sacrifice to make payment for our sins. Kind of interesting, I think. All right, moving on, verse 15. So the men took this present. We're moving forward a few verses. And they took double the money with them and Benjamin. They rose and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. When Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the steward of the house, "Bring the men into the house and slaughter an animal and make ready, for the men are to dine with me at noon." The men did as Joseph told him and brought the men to Joseph's house. Now the brothers were worried when it was explained to them. They thought that for sure it was the issue with the money, and they tried to explain that to them. Again, they thought that it was due to their past, the trouble that they had caused with their other brother, that they were now being punished. And, well, they're right. But Joseph, it wasn't like they thought. Joseph said that he had received the payment, and they were really confused by all of this that is going on. Let's go to verse 26. When Joseph came home, they brought into the house to him the present that they had with them, and bowed down to him to the ground. And they inquired and he inquired about their welfare and said, "Is your father well, the old man of whom you spoke? Is he still alive?" They said, "Your servant, our father, is well. He is still alive." And they bowed their heads and prostrated themselves. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, "Is this your youngest brother, of whom you'd spoken to me? God be gracious to you, my son." Then Joseph hurried out, for his compassion grew warm for his brother, and he sought a place to weep. And he entered his chamber, and he wept there. Then he washed his face and came out, and controlling himself said, "Serve the food." Can you imagine the emotions that must have been running through Joseph? He must have thought that he would never see his younger brother again. But there he was in front of him. All of the brothers reunited again, although he was the only one that knew that. Verse 31, it's kind of interesting. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. In other words, Joseph had him sitting in order of age. And the men looked at one another in amazement. Portions were taken to them from Joseph's table, but Benjamin's portion was 5 times as much as theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. They knew that something was up, but for the time being, they really didn't care. They were eating from the king's table during a famine. Life seemed to be good for them. But yet, it's going to get worse, much worse for them very soon. We're going to look at that tomorrow in chapter 44. Come back and continue to see the story of Joseph and his brothers and how God is using that to save his family. We'll see you then. God bless.